Welcome to our NFL upset video for Week 11, presented by Pool Genius. I'm Spencer, joined by Jason Lisk, the lead analyst over there at Pool Genius. And last week we did pretty good, Jason. We swept the board, went 3-0. You know, in our time doing this video this season, we've had a couple 0-3s. So it was nice to get a 3-0 sweep. That makes us 5-1 on these moneyline underdogs in the last 2 weeks. And we've said it several times going back and forth that it was only a matter of time until these underdogs came through and the pendulum swung back towards the dogs. And they're barking right now, aren't they, Jason?
Yeah, we've seen some big upsets in the last few weeks, which we hadn't all year. And to be honest with you, like when you say 0-3 and 3-0 weeks, your default should be you're closer to 0-3 than 3-0 when you're picking moneyline dogs, right? Like you're hoping to hit more than 1 out of 3 if you're playing big enough dog. So 3-0, 5-1. You know, you and I are both individually have hit the last 2. The computer hit last week also with the Patriots, I believe. I hit with the with that ugly Carolina New Orleans game. People love the Panthers, and it came back to bite them. You had the Eagles on Monday night, correct? That's what you finished with.
Yep.
And so that you got great line. You not only got great closing line value because it closed as a pick 'em, but you actually got actual value, which sometimes that hasn't happened this year. We've had other upset picks that we promoted on our video because we thought we were going to get closing line value. We did, and then it didn't work out. So you never know how that's going to work. So yeah, let's try to continue the trend. Let's really dig in. Let's play the best picks and see if we can continue the streak.
Yeah, and I want to remind you guys, if you want to get these upset picks each and every week, you can join our newsletter called NFL by the Numbers. We'll send these out every Thursday afternoon. So if you can't catch the video or you just want a reminder of what we're playing every week, you can sign up for that. I will pin the comment below, so click on that link. Go ahead and sign up. It's a great way, easy way to follow along. So let's get started with our first upset pick for NFL Week 11. I'm going to turn it to you, Jason. What are you going with?
Yeah, you know, we got to continue this hot streak, and the best way to continue the hot streak is to just disgust the people. Give them an upset pick that they're going to hate, I think. So I'm going to leave the United States. I'm going to fly over to Madrid. And I'm going with the Washington Commanders. Washington Commanders, who you can get for about plus 135 now. They're about a field goal dog in Madrid against the Dolphins. And this is one of those games that it makes no sense in the short term. This Washington has been getting their butts handed to them. 4 straight losses by more than 20 points. They played a murder row teams, and Jaden Daniels has gotten hurt during that stretch. A lot of things have gone wrong for him. The defense has imploded. He's given up yards galore. But they've looked disgusting, right? And so we're going against that. I'm basically playing, they're going to leave it all behind here in the States. They're going to get a fresh start over there. They're going to get their butts whipped, and they're going to be ready to play. And you have this kind of role reversal. Miami has been a very ping pong team, has been a very inconsistent team, and I think everybody's on board the Miami train. Miami pulled that big upset last week of the Bills. And so it's kind of similar to going against the Panthers last week with the Saints, a team that people did not love at all. Like, we hadn't seen Tyler, how do you say it? Shuck win a game yet. It was his second career start. People wanted to pick the Panthers. I went opposite that. I'm going to go opposite this Dolphins team and say, when bad teams kind of have some success, they have a hard time sustaining it in the favorites role. I think they're going to come off that big Bills win. Mike McDaniel or AI trash talking Bills fans, all of it. And they're going to get over to Madrid. And I think Washington has to win this in somewhat of a shootout, but I do think this offense can play better than they have. They're going to have to get just enough on defense. And yeah, so I'm going to go against Miami coming off their big upset, going across the pond, going across the Atlantic, and getting Washington, a team who, yes, has lost 4 straight by 20 plus. I'm going to say they get won by more than +1 this week, and I'm taking the money line.
Yeah, it's so tough to back this Washington team, and as you mentioned, for those reasons, it's pretty disgusting. But if you look at the flip side of this, I really don't mind fading Miami in a sell high spot, your classic sell high spot over in Europe here. So looking at it that way, you're getting plus 135 on the money line.
Yeah.
For my pick, I'm going to get my plus 135 in a little bit more straightforward fashion in a team that I believe in a little bit more. And that's going to be the Detroit Lions on the road at the Philadelphia Eagles. If you recall, I picked the Eagles last week to win at Lambeau Monday Night Football. They got the job done, but boy, was it ugly. That was just an ugly game. I think the Packers might be in a little bit of trouble without Tucker Kraft there and just trying to figure things out on offense, because I'm not sold that this Philadelphia defense is great. I think they're around average. I think they have room to improve, and they could certainly prove me wrong in the second half of the season. But going up against Detroit here, I don't think this is the spot where they're going to come out and turn things around. I like the Lions to get the job done, basically outscore Philadelphia here. Philadelphia still having a ton of problems in the running game, which really is their bread and butter. And Jalen Hurts really looked like he regressed last week. I mean, we saw two solid outings from him leading into the bye. Then after the bye at Green Bay, really didn't put up much. Neither offense put up much. I think Detroit can move the ball here. Now, the biggest concern I have is that Philadelphia defensive line against a banged up Detroit offensive line. But I think Detroit has the scheme, quick passes, creative play calling now that Dan Campbell is taking over play calling duties. I think that is a slight positive for Detroit. And I like them to get the job done on the road simply because I think they're going to outscore the Philadelphia Eagles here. So this is one of those games where I like getting plus money on either side, and I like that it's plus 135 with a team that I think can move the ball more, get more third down conversions, and inevitably put more points on the board. So that's what I'm going with.
I like that pick. This one's an interesting one because it's a plus 135 too, but if you look at the spreads out there, they're not putting Detroit 2+3. They're not going to move it to that key number in this matchup. So I think the money line's the better play. They're going to hold that at 2.5, and so I think you definitely want to play this one through the money line. I like Detroit as well in this game. I think they are the slightly better team. Obviously, we don't know about all the health situations, but I do like Detroit's. I mean, we've seen this team go on the road and win tough games plenty under Campbell, and I think they can get it done here. And so I do like that pick as well. That was, by the way, if you watch the picks video, I think I had Detroit as the teaser pick at 2.5. If you can get that, it's also a good teaser option up to the 8.5, because I do think you're buying close game for sure. I don't see Philadelphia rolling through Detroit in this one. I think it'll be a good matchup.
Right. And that brings us to our third pick, and we're going over to the BetIQ model as we do every week to grab that. And Jason, what does the model have to say this time around?
Yeah, it's pretty strongly on one game this week. It has one dog way above all the others.
Wait, hold on a second. Yeah, you didn't steal the model's pick for the second straight week, did you?
No, I didn't. By the way, I should say the reason I'm going with Washington is because I'm playing nice and I'm letting the model take this pick. Because I actually would take this as my top pick too. I talked nice about Washington and Miami matchup, but that was actually my second choice. I'm letting the model have this one.
So
that's a take. Also, I endorse the model. I hereby endorse what it has to say. Cincinnati, plus 200 against Pittsburgh. These teams met earlier. It was a shootout since they won, as you recall, with Joe Flacco. Jamar Chase tore up Pittsburgh. I just think this Pittsburgh team is, I think the model is liking this one for a lot of reasons, right? Like the Steelers team does not match up to even their point differential. They have a winning record and negative point differential. Oh, yeah. What year is it? Like literally every year over the last 5.
Yeah, that's
not only that. They're getting their point differential isn't even matching up with their yards. They're getting significantly outgained for the year. They're in the bottom 5 in both rush, in both yards gained and yards allowed. They have been outgained by over 800 yards this year. Like, let that sink in. Pittsburgh has been, and they're wanting you to lay points and you can get plus money going against them. So I feel like you're buying like a similar type game as we just saw between these teams, where are they going to have a better plan against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins? Are they, is their defense suddenly going to be great? Probably not. And this Rodgers-led offense hasn't been like super explosive. We saw them, obviously Cincinnati's defense is bad, and they were able to make plays, including that late touchdown to Freiermuth late in that game in the first matchup. But I think, Cincinnati's a live dog here because they can move the ball in this Pittsburgh team. This Pittsburgh team is just not, I don't even think they're average. I know the power ratings would say that based on their point differentials. They're roughly average, but man, they're a rough watch. And I just think close enough. I'm taking plus 200 when you're getting it. And that's what the model says.
The thing about Pittsburgh is they're just so reliant on turnovers, and that creates so much variability week to week. Like you look at some of their best games this season, or their most prominent wins, I guess you could say, at the Patriots and then home versus the Colts. I think they caused like 4 turnovers at the Patriots, and some of those were unforced turnovers, just Patriots dropping the ball. And then the Colts, they forced 4 or 5 turnovers. So like if they're not forcing those turnovers, like what are they doing? Can they go toe to toe with a team and actually dominate them and close the door? And that's proven difficult for Pittsburgh this season, as we saw against Cincinnati the first time around about a month ago. And I like that the Bengals are coming off a bye here, little extra time to catch their breath after a crazy game against the Bears, which they probably should have won that one too. Joe Flacco has time to rest up with that injury he's nursing. Go forward and really make this a game. So I really don't mind this pick for the plus 200 odds that we're getting.
Yeah, you're getting a Pittsburgh team that is somewhat true to Tomlin form. Is kind of one you want to trust the voodoo magic when they're a dog.
Yep.
Or people don't expect them to win and they get those turnovers. But they're 1-3 against the spread this year when favored by a field goal or more. And that only win was the one against the Browns when the Browns traveled back from Europe. Pittsburgh was coming off the bye and had a lot of factors that benefited them going into that matchup. It's the reverse here. Cincinnati's the one coming off the bye. We've seen this Pittsburgh team in those other games where they were kind of expected to win, and they lost to Cincinnati. They got the doors blown off by Seattle, kind of dominated. It was only a 2-touchdown loss, and that line wouldn't be what it was today if they replayed those teams. And then they barely beat the Jets as a favorite of a field goal and did not cover. And so, yeah, I like going against them. I would play the spread or the money line in this game.
What is the spread for this game?
5.5.
It is 5.5. Okay. I kind of like that too. It has me looking for another potential play heading into this weekend. So that's going to do it for our NFL upset picks for week number 11. We have the Cincinnati Bengals plus 200, the Detroit Lions plus 135, and the Washington Commanders in Spain plus 135 on the money line. Looking to keep our hot streak going. Once again, if you want to get these picks every single week delivered to your inbox, sign up for the newsletter. We have that pinned as a comment below. So check that out, and good luck in NFL Week 11.